Welcome once again to Breakfast Central. President William Ruto has put the construction of the 160 billion shilling Mau Summit Highway on ice, throwing contractors and funders of what was Kenya's most expensive road project into a spin. It was initiated by former President Uhuru Kenyatta, and the construction of the 233-kilometer Nairobi-Nakuru-Mau Summit Toll Road that was initially meant to kick off in September 2021 has been awaiting the approval of President Ruto. A
consortium of 3 French firms indicated that they were ready to break ground on the project, having received the financial backing of the African Development Bank, AFDB, and the World Bank. Kenyans are now wondering why the president has made the call to halt construction on the Mau Summit Highway. Joining us this morning is communications expert and political commentator Awino Gilbert. He joins us live from Kenya. Good morning. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning.
And I think,
nice to see you.
Yes, very nice to see you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
All right. A good way to start the conversation would be, why do we have any idea whatsoever why President William Ruto took this decision? Because everyone was looking excitedly towards this, and now it's been put on hold.
Yeah, and the key word there is put on hold. You understand the background of William Ruto. In the last regime, he was the president. He was the vice president, deputy president, but indeed he became the opposition leader. And he has been unhappy since that time when he was thrown out of Uhuru's government. He wasn't happy with the grand infrastructure decisions that President Uhuru made with his key partners. What essentially Ruto is doing is to reorganize himself so that he's in control of each and every activity that is going on. The fact that has been put on hold, indeed, William Ruto is basically telling the big partners that I am the one in control, you're going to do it, but under my terms. And therefore, perhaps the only thing we can do now is put it on hold so that he can renegotiate and see what's in it for his government.
Well, there's the excuse or the statement of tolling as one of the biggest reasons why this has been suspended. It says that William Ruto wasn't very comfortable with the idea of tolling, and there wasn't also alternative routes, for road users who didn't want to take that Mau Summit Road. So what's your response to that? Do you think that's just a fake excuse?
It's not a fake excuse. But indeed, it's a concern because, the Mau Summit Rironi Road actually is 175 kilometers through Nakuru and then to Mau Summit, where you turn towards Kericho or proceed to Eldoret, his homeland. The tolling is because the road is being done under public-private partnership, just the same way the Nairobi Expressway has been done from Nairobi, CBD, from Westlands actually to Mlolongo, just a few kilometers from Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. We have the option of using the expressway, and you pay tolling, the charges based on the distance you have covered on the expressway. That again applies on the Mau Summit Rironi Road. However, from the discussions that I am privy to, indeed, this is a concern that what alternative routes are you going to provide so that those who do not want to pay the toll charge then can use the road. But knowing William Ruto, perhaps I think that at this point we are making too much issues about the toll charge. That will be sorted. It has been done before, but it is a subterfuge to be able to renegotiate the contract so that it meets, what these grand infrastructural contracts do. For example, during the SGR, which was standard gauge railway, the fastest railway in Kenya that connects Mombasa and Nairobi, it was conceived by the Kibaki government at a cost of 55 billion. When Ruto and Uhuru Kenyatta came into power in 2013, they stopped it, but renegotiated the contract and took it to 300 billion shillings for it to be 300 billion actually dollars for it to be constructed. So at this point, I think William Ruto is just reenacting the script that they did before. You find grand projects going on, you stop them, you negotiate, you're in control, you're able to do everything and call the shots. And for those who are waiting to eat, grand projects are an opportunity for people to also enrich or get a slice of the pie. Worth noting is that, and that's why I strongly believe that it will not stop. William Ruto's home is a few kilometers from the stop of that highway. When you reach Mau Summit, you have about 60 kilometers to cover to get to his Uasin Gishu, that is Eldoret. And therefore, the road would likely benefit his people, and he is a person who is keen to provide goodies to his Kalenjin community. And therefore, I know that he's just trying to renegotiate the contract, but indeed, he's looking forward to telling his people that this is one of the goodies that I've given you as one of your own. Thank you.
Let's talk about how the people of Kenya are reacting to this information, and especially how this affects trade. Now, it said, of course, that road is a major transport vein as it's used to transport goods to the east and to wider Eastern African region. So talk to us about, how this pause, or rather this temporary stop, affects trading in Kenya and how the people of Kenya are reacting to this news.
Well, currently there is a road. There is actually a major highway that passes through Nakuru towards Uganda. And the construction of the Rironi was basically an expansion, because now it's a two-way traffic, but they wanted to make it a four-way so that you have 2 lane towards Nairobi and 2 lane from Nairobi. You see, the picture you're showing us a picture of this, the expressway. This is not the highway, but something close to this so that there's less traffic and the ease of transport. Now, at this point, much of the goods that leave the port come via SGR to Nairobi. And then from Nairobi, then the transporters are able to pick them and then use the highway to Uganda or to the western part of Kenya. There are also those who use the standard gauge railway that still operates from Mombasa straight to Kampala. And we have two rail systems. We have the SGR that ends in Nairobi, the fastest, and then we have the traditional one that carries goods. It is recently revamped, and it functions really well. However, at this point, there has been a road that has been in use for as long as I can remember. Of course, the coming of an expressway eases movements, makes it easier. There will be a lane for trucks. I mean, you can imagine the benefits of an expanded road. But at this point, everything goes on as usual, because nothing has hampered the status quo as it is. We are just hoping that, we all look for an expressway. We have already experienced one. I can tell you, when you come to Nairobi, you will experience that. That essentially is what every Kenyan is looking for.
Gilbert, I want you to speak further on the, perspective of Ruto seemingly halting a lot of the other projects, that were initiated by Uhuru Kenyatta. Are there other ones that he is likely to also put to a stop? Have there been other projects that he has already put to a stop? And where does this also leave investors? Does this seem in friction between both of them? Maybe also create a problem for people who want to invest in Kenya. The African Development Bank was one of the funders of this particular project, also the World Bank and a few other financiers. And so will the Ruto Uhuru, seeming friction, it might be false, will that also be a problem? All right. I think we might be struggling with the connection with Awino Gilbert. Gilbert, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, please go ahead.
Now, what that has done, William Ruto has reversed a lot of things that were done by Uhuru, and he will continue to reverse. For example, there are various appointments that had been made by the Uhuru regime. For example, the chairperson of Safaricom, the biggest internet and mobile network provider. He recently, influenced his sacking. and many others. The people who are in State House, who are Uhuru's, under Uhuru regime, he sacked all of them. He has, for example, there's also been talk about Mshwari and Fuliza anchored in a bank that is friendly and closer to the president. Talks are that he'd want to shift this to KCB and another bank that is not pro-president. What Ruto is doing, Ruto is trying to be in control of everything, but he doesn't have the intention of, just throwing everything under the bus just because it's my government. He knows how to hold power, he knows how to use power, and therefore he has to let the people who think that he's not in control now call to his tune. Whether this affects trade or not, essentially it happens at a very higher level. So the operations here, nothing has stopped. So basically trade will not be affected. What largely affects trade in our country from our experience is political instability and a war. So these are boardroom deals that will continue to happen. But as of now, I haven't seen any furor around his continued reorganization. They did it with William Ruto. It has happened before. So he's just playing the trick that makes everybody wants to win election, because once you win, then you can do anything you want. He's doing anything he wants. And yeah, that's why we're here.
All right, Awino Gilbert, thank you very much for your time with us this morning. We look forward to having you rejoin us again to have further conversations, maybe when this project is recommenced. We look forward to seeing how it goes. Do enjoy the rest of your day.